Thank you, Byron. Americans will head to airports in record numbers this Memorial Day weekend. Now, to avoid bottlenecks, at check-in, TSA has some helpful advice for travelers. CTV's Katara Jones is at BWI Marshall Airport with more.
Reporting at BWI Airport, Katara Jones, CTV News.
If you need a little special assistance getting through the airport, you can also contact TSA Cares at 855-787-2227. Switching gears a little bit now, family, friends, and colleagues today paid their last respects to slain Baltimore County Police Officer Amy Caprio. The funeral was held at Mountain Christian Church in Falston. Caprio was killed on Monday while investigating a possible burglary in Perry Hall. The officer was struck by a vehicle as the suspects attempted to flee. 4 teenagers have been charged with the murder. Caprio is Baltimore County's first female officer to die in the line of duty. You're watching CTV News. I'm Monica McNutt, and coming up this Memorial Day, a local restaurant sets up a commemorative table just for veterans. That story right after the break, so stay with us. Welcome back. Some more tough news. Another school shooting, this time at a school in Indianapolis. Authorities say a male student opened fire this morning at Noblesville West Middle School, injuring a teacher and another student before being detained. This attack comes just a week after 8 students and 2 teachers were killed at a high school in Santa Fe, Texas.
Board from 2005 to 2014.
Several restaurants across Maryland are honoring military members in a very special way. The Old Line Fine Wine, Spirits and Bistro in Beltsville has set up a missing man table. The table setting, like this one, is a military tradition honoring fallen and missing soldiers. This commemorative gesture has made an impact on visitors and even the business owner, who want to make sure fellow soldiers are not forgotten. Several members of the Restaurant Association of Maryland are taking part in the Missing Man Table tribute. The NFL shared its new anthem policy this week. It requires players and personnel on the field to stand during the national anthem. Players that do not wish to stand have the option to remain in the locker room. The new policy has sparked lots of conversation, even from the White House. Maryland Senator Ben Cardin weighed in saying he supported the First Amendment rights of the players, but also says that the league has a right to establish standards for the workplace. He adds that he hopes the owners and the players can come to a reasonable agreement that is mindful of the rights guaranteed to all Americans. We asked you, what do you think of the new policy, and how do you think the sidelines will look during the anthems next season?
I just expect to see some players on the field and others not.
The NFL Players Association plans to review the new policy. And when it comes to the news, or when the news continues, Byron, a sports break with Chris Marks is coming up.
Sure, and a visit with the painted lady butterfly. Sonia Shravaska explains right after the break. Please stay with us.
Maryland Representative Anthony Brown is back at work this week. Brown suffered a stroke 2 weeks ago after he returned home from former County Executive Kevin Kamenitz's funeral. Doctors informed Brown he'd suffer a minor stroke, which affected his balance and equilibrium. Brown says that receiving the news was pretty scary, and moving forward, he says he'll make some adjustments to his cholesterol and sodium intake and encourages his constituents to be mindful of their health and wellness too, no matter how busy or stressed their lives are. Some Metro services will be available on Monday, which is Memorial Day. Both the trains and buses will operate on a Sunday schedule. Metro Rail starts at 8 a.m. and ends at 11 p.m. and parking, because it's a holiday, folks, will be free. Metro is advising riders to check for scheduled service on the rail lines. Metro Access subscription trips have been canceled for Monday. However, customers can make reservations to travel on Memorial Day online or by phone. As we close out the spring season, we have a story for our nature lovers. For weeks, students at St. Matthew's Preschool in Bowie have been watching and taking care of their little caterpillars.
But now it's time to let them soar and fly high. CTV's Sonia Shravaska has our soaring story.
4, 3, 2, 1, soar!
I'm Sonia Shravaska. Back to you.
So here's an interesting question for Monica. The painted lady butterflies on every continent except what, Monica? And I'm sure you know the answer. You're so smart.
Australia and Antarctica.
Ding, ding, ding. You got it.
That was an adorable package.
Yes, it was.
The butterflies could have landed on Sonia's lovely shirt as well.
Exactly.
Much more coming your way on CTV News tonight.
We're talking balls and strikes, sports page with Chris Marks. Stay tuned.
Your Friday sports page. Back over to you on the news desk.
So here on the set tonight, Monica is our sports expert, and you know the Caps playing Monday, and big game. What do you expect?
Big game. I actually would not be surprised if the Caps do not win Game 1. I do think that they are poised, and it is time for Alex Ovechkin to cement his legacy in the NHL. I do think that they can win this Stanley Cup. I think for a lot of DC fans, at least for myself, having shaken off the nerves in the Game 7 versus Tampa Bay, now you're all in, right? Like now let's just go big or go home, as opposed to being reserved for fear of what happens to DC sports teams. When you look at it, while Vegas is an incredible story, an expansion team in their first year already playing for the finals, you got the wily veterans in the Washington Capitals who have been denied time and time and time again. And surely,
So will they have the energy to take it?
Ultimately, yes. It wouldn't surprise me if Vegas takes Game 1, though, just because it'll be in Vegas.
Right.
I mean, this is a team that has an incredible story, like we talked about. You think back to the beginning of their season, they were coming right off that shooting that happened in Vegas, and they were really Vegas strong, kind of gearing around that community and allowing that to propel them forward. George McPhee, who used to be the GM here, is the GM there. A genius. I mean, he's done very well there. I think it will be a tightly contested series, but I do think the Caps get it done.
You're betting. Get the joke there. You're betting on the Caps.
I'm betting on the Caps in Vegas.
Okay, all right, Monica, thank you very much. Media, find us under Prince George's Community Television on Facebook, and
you can also search for PGCTV on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. If you've got a story idea, we want to hear it. Send us an email at ctvnews@pgctv.org. And as always, we look forward very much to hearing from you. That's a wrap for the news for now. Thanks for joining us.
good night.